By the end of this video, you should have a saw that is ready to run.
Going to try to get things wrapped up tonight on this saw. Going to get the rear handle assembly installed. I've already put the steel fuel line in the gas tank. Got rid of the Farmertec fuel line. There's a set of wires already installed on the rear handle assembly, and then there are wires on the coil. So I just left the wires on the coil and removed the wires off the gas tank. So once the handle assembly is slid onto the saw, these wires will need fished through. Kind of have some of the bushings and pieces laid out a little bit about where they go on the crankcase or on the rear handle. This one. So to get things started, I'm going to put this impulse line on. I have the intake boot on the cylinder. You can see I have the bottom at 6 o'clock, that tab that sticks out. The clamp wasn't wanting to fit, so I took a pair of pliers and squeezed the part of the clamp that clamps down on the nuts, because they were sticking up a little bit, and now the clamp will slide right on the cylinder. So to get ready to join the rear handle assembly with the crankcase assembly, I'm going to go ahead and start putting some bushings on. This one goes right here. This one goes there. There's both of those bushings installed. Now, one of these bushings goes here. The other one goes here. So I believe now with those last two bushings, I believe I'm ready to slide the gas tank onto the crankcase. I have the wiring fished through, and the grommet is in the tank. I ended up standing the crankcase on its nose like that, and I was able to push the rear handle down in. You pull the intake boot the rest of the way through. Now this bushing can go onto the rear of the crankcase. Just have a couple of M5 screws, both that are the same length. I realized I didn't put the chain catcher on, so I removed that screw and put that on. I've already assembled this AV spring. Just put the cable through this end, thread the spring on. Then you can slip the cable through this end and then thread the mount onto the spring. Need a short M5 screw or bolt. It's tough to see, but I have the impulse line hooked up. You can see how I ran the wiring. I don't like the way the carburetor is fitting around the air box. Something's going to have to be done about that pretty much ASAP, because that's going to allow the saw to suck the dirt in. Ready for the bucking spike. I have the bar studs on, so now the clutch cover can go on.
I have the wrap handle on the saw now. The long bolts went here. The short bolts went here. And the medium length bolts went here. I have the saw finished up now. I have the recoil on, the top cover, and the air filter cover. The only thing that really needs to be done is I need to find a bolt for the bucking spike. The bolt they supplied is too small. The nut was correct. They did give me an extra bolt, so I could cut that off, but I'm going to look first and make sure I have. But I'm going to look first and see if I have the right length bolt before I cut this one off. Then there's these plugs that go in the muffler. Didn't install those because I'm probably going to take the muffler off and mod it, so there's no need in putting those in right now. There are a few extra rubber pieces. This is an extra oil pump O-ring. This rubber piece and grommet is an extra piece that's in the brake handle. Your brake handle should already have that installed. And then this is the rubber grommet that goes on the nut for the top cover.